Welcome back, guys. This is John Stockley from CVM Cymru. Welcome back to the Mates Weekly email and video. Now, this week, we're going to look at a guy in the Old Testament who's going to properly teach us how not to go about things. That's what I love about the Bible. It's warts and all. It shows us the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the guy that we're looking at this week is the Pharaoh of Egypt. Lived at the same time as Moses and got into a pretty nasty scrap with Moses over the Israelite nation. Actual fact, it was more of a scrap with God himself. So grab your Bibles, and this week have a little bit of a skim read through Exodus 6 to 12. You get the heart of the story then, and we'll share some thoughts once you've done that. So, as you will know if you've read any of those verses in the chapters of Exodus 6 to 12, Pharaoh was a piece of work, wasn't he? And he was filled with arrogance and pride. He was thought to be divine by the Egyptian nation, and I think that was completely influencing his decision making. He does teach us, as guys particularly, a very salutary lesson, and that is, don't go down a path so far when you know it's the wrong path to go down, to the point at which you can't turn back. The pride will not let you turn back. Don't let yourselves get drawn into something that means that you will create disaster rather than admitting you might be wrong. So this Pharaoh had this pretty epic battle with Moses and Aaron, which was actually a pretty epic battle with God himself. And in that battle, the Egyptians suffered 10 different plagues because the Pharaoh would not let the Israelite nation that he was holding in slavery go. So God was demanding and had called Moses and Aaron to lead the Israelite nation out of Egypt. And Pharaoh was saying, no, they're not going. They're going to continue building this nation for us. We're going to continue oppressing them. They are my slaves, and no God is going to tell me what to do. And the Egyptian nation suffered, as I say, 10 different plagues. And the last one was the threat of every firstborn male across the whole of the Egyptian nation being killed. God is gracious, God is merciful, but he will only be pushed so far. And even at this point, when the Pharaoh risks losing their firstborn children, he still will not back down because of his arrogance, because of his pride, and because of his selfish ambition. In the end, he does let the people go because he realizes that even at that final moment, when God promises that every firstborn child will die if he does not let the Egyptians go, he still refuses to do that. And when those children die, he then has no choice, or he feels he has no choice. I mean, this is like literally, he has been completely humiliated in front of his own people. And he realizes that. And as the Israelites are leaving Egypt, pride, arrogance, and selfish ambition get the better of him again. And he commands his armies to follow the Israelites and not let them escape. And he follows them right into the Red Sea. And there, the majority of his troops lose their lives by drowning. Guys, this character, Pharaoh, begs the question of all of us. What kind of men are we going to be? What kind of men do we want to be? Do we want to be full of pride and arrogance and selfish ambition? Are we going to be the kind of guys that when we get into rows and scuffles or arguments, that we are never ever going to back down, even though we may know that we are in the wrong? Are we the kind of guys who are not going to put others ahead of ourselves, put others in before ourselves, think more of others, give other people the benefit of the doubt, but we're going to dig our heels in and we are going to just risk hurting everyone around us, causing suffering to everyone around us, because we are the guys who we know we're right, we're proud, we are arrogant, and we have selfish ambition? Or are we going to become more like Jesus on a day-to-day basis? Are we going to embrace the Beatitudes, remembering that blessed are the meek because they will inherit the earth? Are we going to say we will put others before ourselves? We will love more than we will hurt. We will look out for others more than look out for our own selfish ambitions. Are we going to be full of grace, full of humility, and meek? Are we going to be more like Jesus, who gives rather than takes, who loves rather than hurts? Guys, I think as we draw to a close on this one of the verses which is a real antidote to any pride that we have in us, any arrogance and selfish ambition. The verse comes from Philippians chapter 2 and verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but rather in humility values others above yourselves. Guys, we have a default that we can actually be quite stubborn, quite bloody minded. It is part of our human DNA that has come from the fall. But we also have an opportunity to be nothing like Pharaoh, not to walk down that path that Pharaoh walked down, but to walk down the narrow path and say we are men of God. We love Jesus with all our heart, and therefore we love those around us, and we will do whatever it takes to rescue others rather than to hurt them. So this week, as we're thinking about Pharaoh, and as we're thinking about all the stuff that he got up to and the hurt that he caused his whole nation, let's remember that Jesus did the opposite. He came and he gave himself on a cross, and he took the punishment for us. Now, I want to be more like him. I want to do nothing out of selfish ambition and vain conceit, but I do want to value everyone else around me as higher, as more important than I am, so that I will give in the same way as Jesus did. So guys, don't be Pharaoh. Let's be more like Jesus. Have a great week, and I'll see you again next week.